All right. I think we'll get started. We'll try this again. I did it a little bit ago, and there were some issues with the video and so forth. So we'll try it again and see if we can get it to stay up there and let people see how to prep and so forth for the storm. So let's get right into it. First and foremost, before we get into the technology and devices and so forth that you might need, let's focus on the must-haves for your family and so forth. Being water. Make sure everybody's got some water in their house and having all that ready. Good idea. If you can't find the bottled water everywhere, easiest thing is just basically take your empty bottles or containers, fill them up out of your filter in your fridge. You can fill that up and have water, all you need right there. Also, let's focus on batteries, battery power radios and so forth to hear NOAA storms and alerts that way. Food, I'm sure everybody's running the grocery store and getting what they need, so make sure you get every possible thing that you can imagine that you need there. Shutters and wood, if you don't have it yet, yeah, you're probably going to be in a little trouble right now. But I will say this, I was in Lowe's this morning down here in South Florida, and they're pretty much out of plywood, but they're gradually getting the stocks back, so keep checking on it and so forth. But I would try to get the wood as quick as possible and get it up. I know in the homes around here, shutters are already up. Just be prepared from Miami all the way. I would go all the way to my friends up in the Tampa, Sarasota, Orlando area, even into Ocala, Gainesville area, just to be prepared. You might as well get it. Putting shutters up early doesn't hurt. Also, gas. If you can find gas, keep it. Don't drive unless you need to. The gas is very hard to come by right now. Down here, I know there's a lot of gas stations closed. If you can find gas, I know people coming into town, friends of mine that are, with the Weather Channel and stuff reporting, are saying they were 80 miles out, needed fuel, and there was still not fuel. And that's 80 miles to Fort Lauderdale. So you're talking, Port St. Lucie, Stewart area, so forth up there, and you just don't have any fuel. So if you got fuel, conserve it if you're down here. Make sure you got it. I'm talking, guys, this hurricane, the cone of this hurricane, you just don't know which way it's going to go. I mean, if you look at the cone right now, it's kind of over the whole state of Florida. But remember, you're 100 miles, 150 miles between Miami and Fort Myers area. So it can turn 250 miles in no time. So right now, the forecast is showing it going up the eastern seaboard all the way up to the Savannah, Valdosta, South Carolina area. So you just don't know which way it's going to go. So everybody needs to be prepared for it, no matter what. I mean, everything you get is not going to go bad, so it means a lot right now for yourselves if you want to go ahead and get everything you need. Go ahead and stock it. Don't wait till the last minute. I know we're down here in South Florida, and everybody is running around crazy trying to get things, but we're fortunate enough to have some time to get it before the storm is going to hit us on Friday to Saturday. And the last thing I will say, and then we'll get into devices and technology. If you are in an evacuation area and you're asked to evacuate, unless there's a pertinent reason not to, I would recommend it. It's definitely something that you could consider. They're not doing it just out of the kindness of their heart to tell you to do it. There's probably a reason for it. And I'm actually hearing thunder right now and storms right now. We're still a couple days away. So it's coming. It's definitely coming. All right. Let's jump into technology and gadgets and so forth where I live and breathe to give you guys some ideas. First up, unplug all your devices. If you're going to leave your home and not be there, unplug everything. Make sure that way surges don't happen through lightning and so forth. And one thing that's going to happen is the surge is going to hit your house. It's going to hit your fuse box, and it's going to fry all your circuits. You don't want to do that. Easiest thing, just unplug it. And I'm not just talking power plugs. I'm talking your Cat5 cables, your regular cables. Unplug those. There's no reason if you're not there to have them plugged in. So make sure you do that. Okay, equipment, big thing, powering down stuff. Don't just walk over, hit the power switch. If you've got a computer, go to the shutdown, shut it down. If you got a printer, go to the printer, shut it down. If you got a modem, shut it down. Shut everything down if you're leaving the home. If you don't need it on, unplug it and leave it shut down. Last thing you want to do is fry a television or other devices in your home. So make sure you got all that. Okay, if you need to back up things, CDs, DVDs, make sure you back it all up. If you're still backing them up on DVDs and CDs and so forth, if you are, take those things with you. We're going to jump into technology, another way to do that with technology. But if you still do it with CDs and DVDs, That's fine. Just make sure you take them with you. Okay, let's jump into gadgets and tech that a lot of people don't think they need, but you can go buy now. First off, portable battery packs. Number one, that's what you guys should all focus on. Portable battery packs are the small devices that house milliamps. Milliamps are MAH. Those are what you're going to see after a large number. Now, that number can be 500, 800, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, and more. Everybody should have those. You can go into Office Depots. You can go into Home Depot. You can go to all the stores now and buy them. Not a lot of people are thinking about buying that for power. Because the one thing is you're going to use those to power your phones, your iPads. The 20,000 milliamps will power small computers, Microsoft Surface, and even some of your MacBooks. So those are the one things you're going to need. If you got a phone, you're going to know how quickly the battery drains. So have battery backups to make sure you can keep those things charged. Okay, backup hard drives. Go get the hard drives. You can go to Best Buy. You can go to Home Depot. You can buy hard drives right now. Take those. If you've got a Mac, you can do a time machine backup. What does that mean? Plug it in. As soon as you plug that device into your Mac, a brand new one, it's going to come up and say, do you want to use a time machine or just normal backup? Time machine backup. Back up your whole drive. If you got terabytes, 2 terabyte hard drive, back it all up. Photos and so forth, back it all up. Other things you can do is if you've got centralized hard drives, so a network hard drive, take that, save everything to the hard drive, take that hard drive, unplug it. Like I said earlier, you don't want that fried. If you leave the house, unplug it, take it with you. Travel around with it. Make sure you've got it, and make sure everything's safe. Now, there are some devices out there, hard drives, where you can store things remotely. If you've got a family, okay, that's got a hard drive remotely, and you're able to access their network, and they're outside the hurricane area, ask if you can somehow dial into their IP address and ask them if you can send some files that way. Or just save it to the cloud or email it. You can do both of those. Those pertinent documents, get them out of your house, get them into somebody else's hands. That way, if something happens, they've got them. I'm talking birth certificates, passports. You can even go as far as financial documents and so forth. Send them to a relative or a friend outside the state to make sure that everything is there for you. Okay, let's see. The other thing I want to tell everybody to do, you've got a lot of things on the ground, okay? We saw, we hate saying it, but we saw it in Houston, a lot of flooding. So put them up. You're not using your counters for parties or hosting right now. Put your things onto that. Things that can't get wet, put them up high. Put them on top of shelves. Put them on beds if you're not using beds. Just get them off the ground in case your house does flood. At least you've got some saving grace that it's going to be up there. Other things, Ziploc bags. If you got a bunch of Ziploc bags, people aren't really thinking about buying those. You can put your devices in there. You can use your phone still through that. Put the backup batteries in that. That way, if it does flood or it does get really wet, you still have that. If you got waterproof cases for your phone, put them on now. Get those things going. If your phone does get wet, there is a product out there called Absorbit. I have put that on my page before to see it. That is a great device. If your phone gets wet, put it right inside of it, close it up. It will absorb the liquid right out of your device. Now, you can get those on Amazon, get those sent to you now. Amazon Prime's still sending things. You still got 2 days to get things to you, a day to get things to you. So if you can, go on Amazon, order a bunch of stuff, get it sent to you. You can always send it back. But you remember, what I've told you is everything you need for a hurricane is everything you're going to need on a normal day anyway. There's nothing you're buying that you're never not going to use. Generators, different story. You're going to keep it in the garage. Hopefully you never have to use it, but if you do, you'll have it. If you ever go tailgating, you can have a generator. Okay. Next thing I want to talk about, Comcast. Comcast has been nice enough. I've seen things. Comcast has opened all Wi-Fi networks. So if you see it when you go into your Wi-Fi settings and you'll see like Xfinity, that is now open. You don't have to have an account to actually use it. So make sure you check that out and make sure you're able to use that. If you lose Wi-Fi, sometimes the Comcast Wi-Fi lasts longer than the normal home Wi-Fi. The other thing to think about is if you have not, big thing right now, if you are in that cone, and I'm talking that cone that's going to come across Florida right now, if you are in that cone, take photos of your home, take the inside photos of your home, take photos of your roof, the outside, cars, take photos of everything you own, okay? Things in your garage, your TVs, your couches, pictures, whatever you have, take photos of it. That way, when the insurance comes and says, hey, what did you have? You can go, here are all the photos with the claim, and you're set to go. If the storm comes and you don't have that, you can't prove that you had that sometimes. So if you have the photos shown in your home in the setting, you can then show that to them. So make sure you have all that done. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about then, if you guys have any questions, please ask them to me. First up, when you come back from the storm, okay, come back from the storm, the first thing you want to do is turn on your computers or your TVs and so forth. Don't do it right away unless you have full power back in your house. And what do I mean? If you think you have like stagnant power in your home, and you'll know, trust me, if you're home, if you have something plugged into it and you have stagnant power, and the power, excuse me, and lightning hits that, it's going to fry it. Okay, it's going to hurt your products in your house. Wait till you have full power and the city has said power's back, the power trucks are off the street. Don't just rush to turn your power back on. Make sure everything is okay before you turn the power back on. And then as you're reconnecting a lot of things in your home, do it slowly, do it, meticulously, like make sure you're going down and forth and everything is okay. And like I said before, I want to get anything else, just make sure you guys are safe. Like I said before, evacuate if you need to. This storm is no joke. You need to make sure that you are safe. We're right now at a Category 5. That's 185 mile an hour winds. Keep in mind, there's nothing higher than a Category 5. 5 is the highest. By the time it makes landfall into the continental United States, which is looking right now, it's coming past Cuba and then going to make a turn right up Miami and go straight up Florida and out near, I would go West Palm, Port Canaveral, and then head towards the Jacksonville, Georgia, South Carolina lines. Be safe. I mean, this isn't a joke. This isn't something to laugh about. Make sure everybody is safe. And if you need to evacuate, evacuate. When you guys are getting everything set, okay, using generators, and my father, thank you for asking that question because that's definitely true. When you use a generator, people think, oh, I got the generator turned on, I'll put it in my garage and plug it up and good. Generators, if you're using gas generators, have exhaust. Okay, it's just like running your car in your garage. Carbon monoxide, you don't want to do that. Put your generator outside. Your generator is waterproof. Okay, it can get wet. Once it plugs in, as it's running on fuel, make sure. Your gas, keep it away from your house. Don't keep your gas cans in your garage. Everybody's afraid it might get stolen. Well, it's better than keeping it in your garage. Keep it outside your house, maybe in your backyard, behind the fence, and so forth. But just everybody, please, please stay safe. If you have more questions about computers, devices, technology, whatever you need, please let me know. I will be doing a lot more Facebook Lives all through the storm, in the middle of the storm, and so forth, so everybody can see it and stay up to date. So if you have any other questions, let me know. Send me a message, and we'll go from there. But until then, be safe if you are in that track for the hurricane, and we'll talk soon.